Welcome to Two Queens and Crystal
Welcome, y'all.
Things, the podcast where we are on some manifest your life, shift your mind, and raise the consciousness type of shit.
Yes.
I am Mia.
And I am Christy, and you can consider us your spiritual girlfriends.
Hi.
We'll see how long for today.
Hi, y'all.
But our last episode, we talked about the energetic update. I hope you guys liked this episode, and we did also skip a week. Look, life is life. Life be life, which is all right. But in this episode, so the last episode we discussed the current and the major shift that we're living through. Have you all been feeling some of the stuff that's been going on? I know we kind of talked about it before recording. Some of the changes and the shifts that we've been experiencing and going through. I hope you all are hanging in there. And you know, because what is it? Mercury is in the lemonade. And
Girl, it's all type of. Yes. It's a whole lot of.
Yeah, it is a whole lot.
But I also think we are. You know,
there's a collective shift.
I mean, it's shifting. I'm still even now. I'm sitting here talking to Christy. My shit. I itch. Why does my... I mean, it's all... what is going on? Okay, anyway. So, shout out to everyone who supports the show through the Buy Me a Coffee link. We really appreciate you guys. You know, if it'll make you feel better, would you really buy this wine? But hey, you know.
I hope you all know this. You know, just replace the word coffee and change it with wine. That's what you guys are doing. But no, thank you for your support because, we would really love to do this full time and to not be able to work our full-time jobs. But this is, I wouldn't even call it a labor. It's not a labor of love, but it's something that we really enjoy doing and sharing with you all. So thank you.
And the feedback that we get from you guys.
Ooh, yes.
Even that much more.
It really is. We've gotten some really cool DMs lately.
Yes. Which brings up.
Yes.
You guys. We want to bring back something we did. I don't know. I think it might have been our second season, second or third season, where we ask every week we'll pick a question that you would like for us to talk about. It could be about anything in general, a personal question, whatever. So we'll pick one question, and we'll talk about it on the show. It could be about you, whatever. We'll get into it. We really did enjoy doing these, so I'm glad you brought this up today, Christy. So, and you guys know where to find us to send us these questions. Find us at on IG at Two Queens Crystal Things. And we'll select a question. We will select a question every week that you guys will answer. Yeah. So let us know what you want to talk about.
And I think this time, before we asked topics of discussion, what are some topics? But I think now we want to hear
questions.
Give us some questions. What are some things that you want us to answer on the show? And we'll do that.
Yes.
So send it to us on Instagram, or even message us, on our post, but just send us your questions.
Yes. So, okay, real quick, let's get into what we're talking about today.
Ooh-wee.
So, I know a lot of us are in creation mode, and
it's spring.
A lot, right? A lot of us have shooketh off the hermit mode that we are going. Some people are going into hermit mode, but for those of us who are in a space where we are conscious of the fact that as we speak, we create. Because we're always recreating, whether or not we're conscious of it or not. But no matter what we're doing, we're creating. So we want to talk about making sure creating from love. That we're staying in a... love is a frequency that is the same, that's on the same plane as fear, but it's a different pole. It's a different vibration. So, I like to say between, we were talking about, you have A sharp and A flat, or something, you know what I mean? Or A and A sharp. So you just gotta, it's that same note. So vibrationally, if they are very similar, You want to make sure that you are vibrating in a space of love as you create, and it really as you walk through the day. Because again, that's your vibration is your creation as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, Kristen?
Yeah. So this topic is so me and we were talking about this episode. We've been talking about it for a while, but I came across this video, which was a podcast between two people. If you all listen to Bill, is his name Bill
Carson.
Lipton?
Oh,
is it Lipton? Anyway, Lipton. He's the epigenetics guy, and then Michael Brathwaite.
Oh yes, Michael Brathwaite. Mm-hmm.
So they were having a conversation, and they were talking about creating from a place of love. And when I listened to it, I was just like, "Wow, this is very interesting. I think this is something that we can talk about it." But love, I mean, and Mia talks about like she is like the queen of love. Mia talks about love all the time, like moving in love, flowing from love, being in a space of love, always just like manifesting from a place of love. And I really, like, after listening to this, I'm just like, it really makes a difference to create from a place of love.
Like to stay and
it's hard though.
It is. Like, no, because it makes you it reminds you to stay intentional with your own frequency.
Mm-hmm. Intentional with your own frequency.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be out here.
Right, because it's all a choice. Yes. It's all a choice.
I want to be intentional with the way I move in this space because I know it's all coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's just, and just the type of wave that you put out when you are in a love space it's just different.
Yeah, it is completely different.
And when we say love, you guys, it's not.
Yeah, let's break that down.
Love, child. When we're speaking of love in this context, we mean from an elevated place of because love is creation.
Mm-hmm.
So love is everything. So we're not talking about romantic love or falling in love or a love that a love for a romantic partner.
We're talking about vibration.
We are talking about like the love for a romantic partner is one aspect of love. Mm-hmm. We're talking about all the love, the big love.
Right.
And I think one day I said this before. If you imagine that the first emotion, the first feeling is love, right? And then so Source loved itself so much that it wanted to experience itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it created itself
in different
in many different manifestations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we are a manifestation of love. So when we're talking about love, that's the love we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Not how much you love your boo.
Right.
This is
like would you say
this is you know what I mean? This is creation.
So would you say that it's like that agape love that they talk about in the Bible?
Oh, I love. Okay, yeah.
Like that's like a
yes. Like, oh my God. Okay, yes, yes.
Because that type of love, like that, is just it's unwavering.
Mm-hmm.
It's unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it's like all encompassing. It's unjudgmental. Like it's a completely different, like it's a higher perspective. If I can explain that.
So I believe that the way people describe agape, it's like the highest form of love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
there are levels to this shit,
right? But yes. I want to add to it, though. It was like they in the Bible they talk about it's like the love of God for man, right? So if we wanted to take that back, just to not from a necessarily a monotheistic God, but source God,
mm-hmm.
the love of God themselves
mm-hmm.
for His creation, for what they've created. So it's really the same thing. They just made it, on a different level. But so for the words that I have access to in my brain right now, I think agape love is the closest thing to it because my only, and I would love to have this conversation with somebody, but my only addition to the love is that the agape love can't exist unless the love for self started first.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So because it all starts with that love.
Yeah, like it all. Like, right. We said this before. Like it all starts within. Yes. It starts with you.
So like for us to even to be able to experience an agape type of love, Source had to know love is. I mean, like everything flows from there. So that's what I'm. So that's when I said I wanted us to. We can get tangential sometimes, you guys,
but it's good tangential stuff. Yes.
So when we talk about creating with love, we just want to make sure that you guys are saying we're not talking about romantic love. Mm-hmm. That's just a piece of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So something that I wanted to share, that this actually came out of the podcast that I mentioned that I listened to, is that love allows you to... Okay, so we all are born into this world. Mm-hmm. And we all have a programming or a program that we are programmed with. And so what love allows us to do, it allows us to create a new program. And so the original program that we were given, love allows us to like be creative and basically like create this new space for ourselves.
Okay. So look, I'm like, nope. Oh my God. Like I said, the creator loves itself. Mm-hmm. So that it,
So it created a new, like
exactly.
Us.
Just like, so now we are the creator. Mm. And if we want to create a new
Look at you,
program,
Tiny. Mm-hmm. I see. I feel you. I feel you.
So if we want to create a new program, we have to, like the creator that created us, we have to do it with love. Mm. Because that's how it started. When I really think, like, I remember, and I actually saw this in meditation. I'm like, what if that really is the first emotion in us?
It is.
I know. I'm saying, I genuinely, you guys would be amazed at how much time I contemplate an understanding of what love really is, and how many different aspects and how we manifest it in this. I mean, like, I really do enjoy. I mean, what greater topic to than love? It's all a matter of how we choose to express it, because that's really all we're doing. Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously. But I like the idea that when you're saying love allows us to create, to adjust our program, to pivot. But I love it has to be, I think it's the love for ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, all of this starts with you. I mean, right. That's just, I mean, if you all go back into our episodes, everything starts with us.
Okay. So back in your creator seat, right? Mm-hmm. You guys? Okay. And now you are looking at your life from the position of the person who created it. It's not happening to you, right? It's something I created, I'm living, it's coming through me, okay? Now, when you are sitting in that seat looking at what you've created it, and you have on your love glasses, you remembering like, oh my God, I created this. How can you not love what you created? So when you sit back and look at your life, go sit in your creator seat and you look at your life like, oh my God, look what I experienced. And it allows you to understand your beliefs a little bit more. It allows you to see what it is that you have valued and what you have, lessons you have put forth in your life. You did all of this because you loved yourself and you wanted to experience yourself. And this allows you to shape your external world.
Yeah. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we actually talked about this before we recorded, is that it's important and I think you all know, but I'm just going to say it's important for everyone to understand that our beliefs, like Mia said, shapes our external world. Yeah. So on the other side of the love, if you are believing in fear And everything is like, oh my gosh, my son is going to be born with, this, or my daughter's going to be born with this. Then guess what? That is what's going to happen. You manifested that shit, or you basically spoke it into existence.
I mean, like, seriously, anytime you focus on what you don't want,
that's what you're going to get.
That's what you're going to get.
Yeah.
It's like, every time, oh, please. And we are so good at repeating ourselves on things that we don't want. Oh, I hope there's no traffic. I hope there's no traffic. Oh, my goodness, I hope there's no traffic. I hate when there's traffic. It's not going. Oh, my goodness, I hope there's no traffic. I'm so, fuck, it's traffic.
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm not going to be late. I hope I'm not going to be late.
Girl, ooh.
There you are.
That one right there. That one right there. So, I mean, that's just something simple, but also even on a larger scale, we really do speak disease over our life.
We do.
When I tell you,
okay,
I know people who have said, man, as long as I don't get cancer.
Okay, so can I say something? So first of all, the guy that I was talking about is not Bill Lipton. I'm sorry, y'all. It's Bruce Lipton. So he is a scientist first. He is like the guy who discovered epigenetics. Something that he talked about is our beliefs create a chemistry in our body, which then goes into a cellular level. Like, this is all like, it's so intense, and there are so many different levels, but what you were just saying is so true. Say it again, because I forgot. You guys, what were we just talking about? We are one bottle in. But no, so he is a scientist, and one of the things, he never was like religious and spiritual.
I was talking about how people will speak disease into their life.
Yeah, so he's a scientist, and he was saying there are no genetic codes for cancer.
Because it's just isn't it your body attacking itself, basically?
Yeah, but he was saying what cancer truly is, it is people feeling like not accepted, it is fear, it is emotions that haven't been dealt with, it's feeling like not a part of the group. It's just, there are emotions that weren't allowed to be released that then evolve into this thing. But he was like, as a scientist, he studied this for years. He was like, there is no genetic code
interesting
for cancer. It's actually in what I sent you.
Okay, I'm definitely.
But he's a scientist, and he never believed in like spirituality. But after studying the cells, he was like, "Oh my goodness! One day the cells just showed me, like we are all antennas, and we all have our different like radio stations that we're able to like tune into. We're different frequencies walking around, but we're a part of the same radio. Like this, it's really interesting. So, yes, your shapes." Your beliefs, they shape your external. So really,
like they really do. What you believe, you are. It's basically whatever you believe you are. The universe says, "Okay, I believe you." Mm-hmm. Then you get mad.
Right.
It's like
I gave you what you said.
You spoke it to me. You believed it, and I just reflected it back to you.
Yeah.
Don't get mad at me. So essentially, it all starts in the mind, right? Mm-hmm. So what you are thinking. So basically, okay, so like Christy was talking about like the antenna. So
yes.
like I like to say how I'm vibing, like on my energy level. So if my energy is welcoming, I'm smiling and you know what I mean? Like I look like I'm going to, or feel like I'm going to interact with people. I'm putting out that vibration. If I'm around an introvert who, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to talk to people. You know how sometimes you just don't want to talk to people. Mm-hmm. And so if I'm putting out that vibration, an introvert is going to naturally turn the other way, avert their eyes, because like, no, that looks like somebody who's going to want to talk and talk. Like we give off these type of energy. So when you are getting back in your creator seat, and creating your life, I said this earlier, be intentional about the vibration that you are existing in.
Yep.
So it's more than, okay, time for me to sit down and manifest my life. At every walking, breathing moment of this life, or any moment that you are being, you are creating.
Mm-hmm.
So the work, I think, is why the journey, why what people refer to as their spiritual awakening is so important, because what that does is it allows you the opportunity to learn, to have some self mastery about who and what it is that you are. So now you're more conscious about the way that I exist and vibrate means something, and oh shit, I create that, I can control that. And then so now it's just it's not just, oh, let me get to this beautiful, warm, good place because I'm about to manifest. This is just how I am.
Right.
This is just my vibration. And everything flows from there. I'm telling you, look, bullshitters and bullshitters, that's why it's always a group of them.
Yeah. And something that I thought was really interesting, and for those of you who are science nerds, because I'm a science nerd, and science and spirituality are now like hand in hand, where now it's like science is validating spirituality and spirituality is validating science. But something that Bruce Lipton said is that our thoughts, the way that we think, it creates a chemistry in our body, which then will attract what's complementary to your thinking, which I think is really interesting. So not only is it just like energetically, but it's also like there is a chemistry shift that is happening in your body too on a cellular level, which I think is really cool. You guys can look this up too. But I thought that was really interesting. And something that I'm sure we've said this before, is once you change your mind, you change the way that you think. You change the way that you're able to view life. You shift your perspective. Your reality shifts.
I mean, like everything. So, wait, I wanted to hit on what you were talking about in terms of like, science and spirituality are having a very symbiotic relationship. There isn't, now people who are talking about things from a spiritual standpoint aren't looked at as wackos, especially when you look at really what quantum physics is.
Right.
It's really just studying and the invisible things that move stuff around, that influence how things manifest in the physical world. Spirituality represents the invisible things.
It really does.
That influence the physical world. It's the same thing. So, as that field grows, I've been watching it too. I get a little nerd out. I really like physics.
Yeah, especially the quantum physics.
Yes, I'm like I'm like, man, I can tell the conversations are changing.
Oh yeah, they are.
Like you have quantum physicists on Gaia.
It's shifting. Like I
feel
like
what I mean. Like
things are shifting.
I love it. I really, really, really. I think that I enjoy it because, or I look forward to the effect that it has on people in the discovery of who they are. So people who would might dismiss spirituality as woo-woo when it's understood, or out of reach, or not real, when you start to understand the connection to the science world, it might allow some people to open up to the space that normally wouldn't.
Yeah, because people, I feel like, just naturally, humans, we want to find something that validates what our thoughts or beliefs are, or we need to have something tangible that backs up what we are being told, and science kind of serves in that role. I just think science is cool. I've always been a science nerd, but I agree with you. I think that for people who may be kind of straddling the fence and not really sure what they believe in, I think science will then kind of open up the doorway for them to start being more open with the way that they view things.
Yeah.
So let me just ask.
The more the merrier.
Yeah. I'm curious to ask though, because I was thinking about this on the way to your place, Mia. What are some things that you can think of that are created from love? outside of a child?
Okay, I think in general,
Mm-hmm.
or for me?
Yeah, in general. It can be for you too if you want to share.
I think, okay, when you were working on Sage House,
mm-hmm.
and you started thinking about what type of services you would offer,
mm-hmm.
you started imagining what would it look like and what am I going to put in it, and I want to learn how to do this. Every moment that you were thinking and creating that was from a place of love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, and I can say this because I know you, because you weren't creating and I was like, oh my God, I need some money.
Yeah.
It was like, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So how easy it is to be in that creation space where it goes from love to fear.
Go support Sage House.
You're right. Where it goes from love to fear is when we're creating things out of desperation because we feel like there's a lack. I don't have something, so I have to do this. Now that doesn't mean that when you create from that space that it won't be successful.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what does it say? What is it? The mother of all invention. I can't think of it.
It'll come to you.
Something is the mother of all invention.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should not negate the things that are created out of fear, out of something being necessary. Like, seriously, when you look, so we shouldn't negate that. But if you're being conscious about what it is that you are trying to create, like, let's just say, people create all type of new ways to do things. So I don't know why this is coming to my head now. They'll say people, what do you call it? If you've ever made a grilled cheese on an ironing board, right? So people will say that came from people living in the hood or from people who went to jail or blah, 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 blah. Now, even though the space, the environment is not something that people would say, well, you can't create from love in that space. That's not necessarily true.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It actually is not. It's only true if you want it to be. Mm-hmm. When somebody thought of a way to make their life easier with less than what other people have, that's not creating from fear. That's not necessarily a necessity. That is creating from a space of love.
Yeah.
How many things have been created because somebody doesn't have to find a way or make one. They create something and it's beautiful. And you're like, how the hell did this beautiful ass rose come from this concrete ass jungle?
All the time.
Every
time.
Think
about, I always like to think about, your grandmother's cooking.
Oh,
like there's just something about, like my grandmother's yeast rolls.
Mm-hmm.
This woman would make...
Those rolls are good.
I mean, and she would make enough to feed an army. Like, she would pass out rolls to her neighbors. And her rolls were so good. And it's just like when you eat it and you bite into it, it's like you could feel her essence. Like, you could feel her love. We tried duplicating that. There's just no...
Well, the ones you make are pretty good. I haven't
not like
grandmother.
Not like my grandmother's, though. Not like my grandmother's, but there's just something, when you have your grandmother's cooking or like that relative's cooking that they just put their all into it.
Oh, and it means something to them. They look forward to cooking for their family. Absolutely.
So it's just like, that is creating from love. And so imagine when you create from a place of fear. Oh, well, let me just go ahead and do this because I just have no idea. So I'm not going to mention names, but I was in a situation where someone I know lost their job, and I think the previous version of themselves would have reacted from a place of fear. Mm-hmm. And I do still think that in some respects they did act from a place of fear because they were...
Well, there's a shock to that at first. You're like, oh shit.
They applied for 50 jobs. They applied for 50 jobs.
Covering their bases, babe.
Okay, so... But once this person finally said, you know what, let me pause. There is something that I need to learn from this. Things started to just happen. Things shifted.
Right.
You know, so there's no longer that energy of like desperation that's trailing behind their actions. It's now from a place of faith, knowing that things are going to happen. There's a place of, you know, love of self. Like, I know that, first of all, I know I didn't bring myself this far to fuck up or to have my life fall apart. So I'm trusting myself. I'm trusting in this life that I created. And I'm just going to sit back and let things happen as they should.
Yeah.
It's just different.
And like, when you do things out of desperation, oftentimes you do things you wouldn't normally do. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, even when dealing with people.
I've done that.
You know, I'll say this too. This is going to sound jacked up. But I truly believe that desperation has a smell. I promise you.
And you could probably smell it.
I promise you. I can smell it. I'm like,
what's that? Is that?
And I'm telling you, it's
desperation.
And depending on who it is, it manifested. Like, sometimes you smell around somebody, you need to get the hell out the way. Because when somebody's at their last, where they feel like, I don't have anything left to lose. Doesn't tell me.
Those are scary. That's that. Yeah.
Leave them alone. But you need to be able to identify that before you come. I'm telling you, I could like, or
what's that?
Just in the way that people act, I can feel there's a desperation there. Which and it's not necessarily a judgment for me. It's like it makes me wonder, like, what are you afraid of? Because oftentimes when we do things out of desperation, it's not authentic. I'm just trying to throw shit to the wall. I got, well, how did you get there? You know, now I got all other questions, just like, man, what's really, but I can tell you, it has a scent. I'm trying to tell you. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm dead serious. I'm telling you, I can smell like, oh shit. Mm-hmm.
I smell desperation.
Okay. Look, I'm like, you can cover it up with Baccarat all you want.
Right. Baby, can I get that number, baby?
I can smell it.
Actually, that's the perfume I have on today. Are you trying to say I smell like desperation?
I didn't even smell your perfume.
Let me.
No. What am I? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go to creating. So when we're talking about creating your life and really walking through your life, like, you know, I am very mindful when we talk about these topics and these things, these philosophies, these ways, these rituals, that this is not just to be talking. This is really, truly like sharing how it is that you change your life. Like, they're talking about your life. Like, putting the tools back in your hands, waking up and reminding you, like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm actually the main
character of the movie.
So, oftentimes, no matter what we're talking about, it's all coming back to you, to your self-mastery. We might talk about different ways to get to that nut. And sometimes in this journey, we're like, oh, I need to stop and clear something out because but even to get to the point where you realize I need to do some shadow work, there was some work that happened for you to even go, something's not clicking. And to even get to the awareness and the wherewithal within yourself to start asking yourself questions about who you are and what's going on, that's work too. So no matter where you are on the spectrum in your journey, one thing that should be a reminder and remain constant as time goes on, will become more natural to you, is understanding that you are the creator. And whatever you are creating from love, and whatever that looks like to you, because what I am creating for love is not going to look like what Christy is creating. But our vibration may be the same. It's not going to look exactly the same. Yeah. But we're vibrating the same way. So then that's why we're friends. It's like, oh, I like this vibration. Oh, I vibrate up here too. Do.
But it's supposed to be that way.
Right? No, it is.
Like we're supposed to be different. Like, think about it. Like, Source decided that it wanted to experience life in all its various shapes, forms, whatever, colors, size.
So why would they repeat it?
Right.
Why
so why would I try to be the same as this person? It makes no sense because like your experience is going to be different from my experience, but all of it is still connected to source, wanting to have that experience of the human existence.
Why would it duplicate itself? So I get so bored sometimes when I see us humans just wanting to be like each other. I'm like, man, do you know that you missing all the juices in discovering like what you were created to experience in this place as whomever you are, and not the carbon copy of the Housewives or the I don't even know what the damn shows. You know what I mean? Like but I do understand how it's easy to do so. Think about it. I don't have to worry about. I don't have to go through the process of learning who I am. Somebody told me who I am. It takes away the fear of not being, like a guy said, not being welcomed or loved or accepted because I'm doing what everybody else does. So there's an automatic exception there. Like, phew, okay, that takes that out the way. And basically, it's almost like we're so set up to basically not learn ourselves. We accept what we are told to be.
No, and that is
for the longest time.
That's the key.
And then till one day, say, hold up. And not saying that it was bad before. It's just sometimes you ask a question or two and something clicks. You put it to the side and something. Wait a minute, hold on. I know this really ain't it. I'm doing all this just for this? Yeah. Like, whoop-de-doo.
Isn't that crazy?
And then it's like, ha-ha.
But that's the important thing. It's important for us to know who we truly are so that when people try to determine who we are to them or how we're supposed to be, we're like, oh, yeah, no, that's not.
That's, if that's how you perceive it.
That's cute, but
you can
that's
say
not
what
me.
You want. Right, you can say it all you want.
But
that's not, I get to say who I am and be who I am. But sometimes we have to be something we're not to understand that that's not what we are. Sometimes we need the contrast.
Yeah.
Just like how you know it's light outside if you don't know what the dark feels like. Sometimes being not what we are is what cracks us to the point where we have to discover who we are. Everybody's past is different. And Chris and I talked about this before we started this. Trauma oftentimes is what cracks that nut. Like, no, we got what this hurts. I don't like this. Why is this happening? Oh, wait, because this doesn't resonate with who I am. Wait, what are you even talking about? Okay, wait, let's and then ultimately what does it get back to? Discovering the creator that you are.
Yep.
And if you are in a space where you created, and we gotta then create it. And trust me, nobody's is going to look the same.
It's not supposed to, and that's what makes it so special. Like, that's what makes it so unique.
So that is why I think at this point, I give a lot, I pay attention a lot more to, like, new people and experiences. Like, I really enjoy experiencing something new, even if it's like I'm watching a TV show or just being around a type of energy I haven't been around before, because it's like, man, it's fascinating to see how many different ways Source recreated itself to experience itself. Like, man, that is, wow, I bet that's a good time right there. You know what I mean? Like, or, wow, I never knew this existed. And I'm always fascinated when I experience a new energy that I know that they created. It's like, wow, you actually created this. And like, this is, even if I'm feeling like, you're kind of crazy, but there are people who are like, no, I created, I like this. I was very intentional about this. And you're like, you can't do nothing. People will sit, man, I would rather be around someone who has intentionally created the life that they want to live and me disagree would not disagree, or I shouldn't even say disagree because it's not even that. It's just that, it doesn't necessarily vibe with me. I would rather be around that type of person than be around somebody who allows society to create them. I can't even, like, it's different. I can vibe more with someone who created their life, even if I do not agree with their value set, or the way that they live their life is not something that I want to do for myself. I don't have to agree or like it, but goddamn, I can honor the fact that you creating your shit. Love you, and I'm dead ass.
That's true.
Like, wow. And for the moment that I'm around you, I get to feel that energy and feel your creation. Then I get to go home and back in my, you know what I mean? Like, if we were walking around the world experiencing each other as, let me step into your energetic space and see what it feels like to be in here. And this does not mean we have to touch people or do nothing nasty, y'all. I'm literally talking about interacting with people. If we allow there's a lot of bullshit that we wouldn't be, because we'd be like, when you allow yourself to get in this space and be honest with yourself about what you feel energetically, you get to make a decision on how or if you want to interact with that body. That's why I don't go out a lot. But you get to make a decision. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get to decide. And so we get mad at people like, you lied to me. If you told me this and you're this, like, you shouldn't have lied to me because now you took my decision, you took my choice away from me. But if we were allowing ourselves to be honest with who we are and open up our energy to feel somebody's energy, good and goddamn what the motherfucker was lying. A lot of times know it.
Yeah, we know.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but we have to learn how to trust and allow ourselves to feel and trust what we feel. It's like, no, that doesn't work.
There's so much.
And be okay with,
I know,
when somebody says, no, that's not, like, it doesn't really matter what you say, but what I feel is what it is.
When I tell you this is a lifetime of work, I mean, we have to learn to trust ourselves. We have to learn to love ourselves. We have to learn to create from a space of love. We have to learn. I mean, it's just, there are so many things that we're constantly having to, like, it's a lot. It is a lot, but keep love, going. Like, keep that going. Love as your focus, as your center, and I promise you can't go wrong. Love. And I'm not quite at the love level as Mia, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Forget you, Chris.
No, I'm for real. Like, you are. I'm just like, okay, Mia.
I'm intentional.
You are.
I'm just.
You are.
But
I'm not there yet.
This. You know what the fuck I've been through? This is work.
Yeah.
Like, it
is work.
I committed myself to myself. I dedicated myself to myself. And I'm like, oh. And every time I learn something, or I say I expand, it's not like I expand and forgot what I just expand. Like, I'm expanded. So now that expansion is a part of my experience. So I move with that. So I allow the expansion. Okay, Christy, what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is to realize, I mean, I'll just keep it simple. Our thoughts become things.
Bam.
So you can either have thoughts that come from love, or you can have thoughts that come from fear. You decide to choose.
Just be honest with yourself that you are the one that created it.
Yeah.
You choose. I will also add my takeaway, or something to add to what we discussed, is being intentional and being a conscious creator. I think is also a form of creating from a space of love. Because it's difficult to be conscious of the fact that you are creating your life and you aren't being honest about what it is that you are creating. When you are being honest with yourself, that's love for you.
Yeah.
But a lot of us lying to ourselves, which we do a lot. It's amazing how many lies you can tell yourself.
And it's funny, and I'm sure you can also agree or contest this. but it's like you'll find yourself telling yourself a lie, and it's like, come on now.
Like, oh yeah.
Wake up.
What I just talking about this? I literally just said I had to have a whole conversation. Like, girl, stop. You sound crazy. I do, huh? Okay, my bad. Okay. We're not even going down that training. Like, girl, but you just want to see if you can still pull one out your butt just to see if it's still working. Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah. We're not lying to ourselves. Nope. Just checking.
Yeah.
Do we have a crystal of the week?
Why, yes, we do. So the crystal of this week is called cobaltocalcite. Element is fire. It's for the heart chakra, and this crystal is considered a talisman of love that will help you discover true emotions buried within. The relaxing vibrations of this crystal will assist you in finally dropping that guard around those precious emotions and finally releasing them. And when you start this process, the experiences, the thoughts, emotions, all of those things that are coming out that cause us to feel uncomfortable, you know, the stuff that we like to sweep under the rug and we don't like to deal with, this crystal will hold you. It'll basically hold space for you in those times, and it'll help you to release those emotions. As much nourishment and love one will need, and will help you get through the trauma. And this crystal will help you live a life full of joy and compassion, while also not forgetting where and what you came from. You came from a place of love. So that is the crystal of today. And that is it, y'all.
You guys, we appreciate you.
Always.
I didn't have any temple work for the collective this week because I want to remind you of our temple work at the beginning of this. We're bringing back our question of the week. Hit us up on IG at Two Queens Crystal Things. Any question, nothing is off topic. We will pick one a week, you guys. It could be about you. You got a question about anything. If it's something we've never heard of, we will figure it out and discuss. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Light,
peace,
love,
and soul.
Bye, guys.